So in my scrolling escapades online, I have bumped into a guy named Vinh. If you don't know Vinh, check him out on YouTube. His channel is absolutely phenomenal. But his whole thing is helping people to communicate better and to use what he calls the instrument of your voice with the full range that it is capable of. One of the challenges that he gives on his channel is to practice talking to a camera, maybe just for 5 minutes every week, until it becomes comfortable and you feel like that's a normal thing. And then he says, go back and listen to it, hear what your voice sounds like. Where are you monotonous? Where do you rush things when you don't need to? Where do you insert ums and uhs and pauses that you don't need? And he's like, this is the only way to get better at communicating. And then additionally, on top of that, he also challenges you to just look at it with it muted and see, does your body language communicate something? Does your body language help make a point? Can you understand in some way what the energy of your communication is just through the visual of your body language in it? This is something that I'm not good at, and if you go back to like my old YouTube videos, I've really struggled with in the past, is just relaxing in front of the camera and talking animatedly like I normally would if I was with a friend. If you have spent any time trying to create on the internet, you probably know that this is one of the most difficult things to do. And most of the content that you are likely to scroll past, you may not even know this, but it's when you can tell that someone is subtly acting a character that is not true to who they really are. And as easy and simple as it sounds to just be yourself in front of the camera, I would say that that's actually, in the digital age, one of the hardest things to do. So this is me internalizing that challenge from him and taking it on. You can expect from me in 2025 to just have more casual conversations with a camera like this. I really love the setup. And also I just wanted to take advantage of this amazing deck and house that we only have about a week left to live in. In a week, we're moving into a new apartment that is beautiful. It's cheaper. It's a 2-bedroom. It's closer to the beach, but it doesn't have all this amazing space and this really beautiful deck. So trying to take advantage of it before I leave. Now, I figured it would be fun to just sort of share a recap to the end of 2024 and tell you about what's happening in 2025 with my life, with my business, with my creative pursuits, because a lot is shifting. To be totally honest with you, I had a really freaking hard end to 2024. I just wrote a Substack post about this. You can go read it. I've linked it below. But to summarize what I wrote about, at the end of 2024, within 24 hours, I had 2 phone calls that were 2 of my biggest clients for my social media agency work that called me. And despite the fact that they had been predicting more work and increasing their engagement with us in 2025, excuse me, they called to report that they were actually not going to move forward with us and that they kind of were going in a different direction. One of them had found a cheaper person to do it. The other person was just going to do it themselves. And so lost 2 huge clients right there. A few weeks later, actually just earlier this week, another one of my most consistent and biggest clients called me and said that their business was struggling and they just didn't have the money to keep going with me in 2025, at least for a few months. So basically within, a couple weeks, I lost 90% of my revenue. There's a few small one-off things that I have planned, which is great to have a little extra cash, but it's not just me anymore. It's me and a business partner, Bailey, that we're splitting the profits. So yeah, it's been a freaking hard couple of weeks with that coming into the picture. Now, the caveat that I will add, and the silver lining to this, and the reason that in some ways it feels as much of an opportunity as it is a loss, is my business partner Bailey and I have been planning for several months now to shift from an agency model full-time to a brand and a product that we want to launch in 2025. And our reasoning is that with an agency model, you're scaling complexity. Like I do video editing. Well, first you have to shoot the content, which often I do myself. Well, even before that, let me back up. You script the content, you shoot the content, you edit the content, you post the content, you do analytics on the content, you rework, and then start the process over. So that's a lot of steps in the process that for many of our clients, we own that entire process, which a lot of clients love. They want to just kind of have completely hands-off service and just be able to tell you, yeah, like, go ahead, you execute on this vision, I'll show up when you have a camera, but other than that, you do all of it. That's really nice, and people are willing to pay a lot of money for you to do that. However, that a lot of money starts to look tough on a balance sheet for people's businesses over time. If they ever have a couple months where their sales are down, that ROI might not be there super consistently all through the year, even though for many months of the year it will be. And on top of that, if we're going to scale to become a larger agency, say we go from 4 clients to we want to get to 10 or 20, then what we need to do is hire a bunch of videographers, hire a bunch of editors, hire a bunch of social media managers. And then what you're doing is you're scaling a team of people, which in a lot of ways is just scaling complexity. You have to build systems to manage the complexity. And to be honest, I've talked to a lot of agency owners that are several years ahead of me in the journey, and they are on the cusp of burning out, if not have already burned out, because life becomes hectic. Every different client wants you to do something slightly different. Even though you might want to keep your offerings similar across them, you're going to have a bunch of different types of clients unless you do a really good job of niching down. Some people do a really good job of scaling agencies, but the more that Bailey and I talked about the type of work that we were doing and what we were projecting it would look like to scale, the more we were like, I don't know if that's actually a business that I want to own. Meanwhile, some of the people that we're working for who do own a simple product that they're just selling online, we've seen go from like $0 of revenue monthly to over $100,000 a month revenue with one employee, aka like the founder, like it's just them. We've seen that enough that we're like, oh, that's what a simple, lovely business to own looks like. And so we've just started to sort of put our brains together and be like, what could that look like for us to spin up a brand and a product that we own, and then use these skills that we've learned to leverage against growing that brand. And so in 2025, the cool thing is we were already planning on launching a brand that we own. And now, instead of it being this nice smooth on-ramp where we gradient out of our agency work and into this brand, we have been kicked into the frying pan. And so all of a sudden we have time on our hands, which was the one resource that we weren't going to have a ton of. And now all of a sudden it's like, oh wow, like we have a few months and enough savings, enough runway at least to like really grind this out and try to launch something. So anyway, that's what we're going for in 2025. We're really excited. I'm not going to share too much more detail about it now because I'm waiting to get a website in place. I'm waiting to get some names and some clarity on what the final product is going to look like. But that's the big thing that we're going after in 2025. There's a lot of uncertainty with it, and there's absolutely no guarantee that it's going to work. But I do know that I'm really excited about this process. I believe in Bailey and myself to be some of the best equipped people that I know. To be honest, I'm not trying to come off as prideful, but I really believe that the combination of my skill set with creative strategy, with open-minded thinking, with product development, with understanding marketing, combined with Bailey's insane skill set with literally coming out of a rocket science industry. I don't know if you guys know this, but Bailey was designing the next international space station that was about to go into outer space before he left to come join me in business. So he's got this unbelievable engineering systems brain. He's very numbers oriented, very detail oriented, and I'm more of a big picture guy. If you guys have ever read the book Rocket Fuel, he really, really well fits the profile of an integrator, and my skill set really well fits the profile of a visionary. That's an amazing book, and those two roles work really, really well together in businesses. I've seen this across a couple of my friends' businesses now, that you want someone to be kind of the out there fluttering kite in the sky, and then you want to have a second person to be the integrator that's this line of tension holding this kite into the sky. That's sort of the metaphor that we have and we roll with. So anyway, I believe in us. I really think this product is going to be something that resonates with people and hits a need in the market right now. And it's just going to be totally honest, it's going to be really fun to market it. Like I have so many ideas of how to tell the story, of how to share about it online, and I'm really stoked to get into that. So this is a mouthful. There's a lot of things changing in my life. The things that aren't changing are I'm staying in Hawaii. I freaking love this place. Our friends and community out here are outstanding and some of the greatest people I've met in my life. Being able to surf every day and be a part of a really active community of runners and artists and creatives has just been unbelievably energizing for me. And that's not changing. Gabrielle and I are doing well. I want to make more content just about our relationship and what marriage has been like. But I'll just say for now that she is dream girl and has just been the most insane support and comfort and inspiration and just joy in my life. And I don't think I could do anything that I've done in the last few years without her being just really a beautiful foundation and partner in all of it. So you guys, I'm really excited for 2025. It could end up being a complete nightmare. I'll admit that now. But I really think it's going to be one of the best years of my life. And I'm really stoked that you guys are here to be a part of it. I'm really excited to keep investing in my YouTube channel. I've recently started posting 3 times a day to TikTok. That's a little known secret. You can go follow me. I think I'm just John Calaguire on there. But I'm feeling like the engines are revving up, and I really am excited for this year. So just want to say thank you guys so much for listening. If you've made it all the way to this part, I hope my communication skills continue to grow. I still feel pretty awkward and uncomfortable in front of a camera, but glad you're here for the journey. It means a ton to me that you're here. It would mean even more to me if you're new here that you would subscribe to stay for the journey. So love you all and have an amazing day.